In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to write a fractional number as a percent. How do we do this? First, we will remember what percent means and how it is written. Since 1% is 1/100th of something, we need to learn how to convert fractional numbers from percentages. How do we do that? The thing is that if 1% is 1/100th of a part, then the denominator must always contain the number 100. So now we will try to translate fractional numbers and write them as percentages. To do this, we need to have 100 in the denominator. Let's look at the following fraction with you. 1/2. We can make it so that we have the number 100 in the denominator. What do we have to do that? In order for the denominator to be 100, I have to multiply 2 by 50. And if I multiply the denominator by 50, I also multiply the numerator by 50. As a result, I get the following fraction, 50/100ths. And if I have a fraction of 50/100ths and I need to write it down as a percent, I write down 50%. That's all you need to do. That is, in order to convert a fraction to a percent, you need to first represent the denominator and write it down as 100, and then you need to write it down as a percent. The next fraction I'd like to convert to a percent, 3/4. What do we have to do? In order to write down or turn a 4 into 100, I have to multiply 4 by 25. If I multiply the number 25 by 4, I obtain 100 as the end result. If we multiply both the numerator and denominator of a fraction by 25, the value does not change. Therefore, when the denominator is 25 times its original value, the numerator must also be 25 times its original value. As a result, the fraction can be written as 75/100ths. This can also be expressed as a percent, specifically 75%. Well, now let us examine the significance of these percentages by considering our pizza as a case in point. So if I desire to show the fraction 1/2 in percentages, what would I do? We're going to take our pizza and represent the fraction 1/2. To do that, I'm going to divide this pizza into 2 equal parts. And I need to take one part, so I'm painting one part. And that 1/2, that's the 1/2. But in the example, we said with you that 1/2 is 50%. That is the 50%. But even if 1/2 is 50%, then the second half is also 50%. The result is that a whole pizza is 100%. 50% plus 50%. That would be 100%. That is, a whole pizza is 100%. So we can conclude that a unit, which is a whole part, one whole part, is 100%. And based on this rule, we can always convert an ordinary fraction into a percent. Let's look at another example. 2/5. We pay attention to the denominator, that's 5. We can multiply 5 by 20, and the result is 100. But if we multiply the denominator by 20, then we must also multiply the numerator by 20. 2 times 20, that's 40. 40/100ths, that's 40%. But of course you may ask the question, can there be more than 100%? Yes, of course it can be. If I consider the following fraction, 1/3/5, what can I do in that case? 1/2, that's already 100%. But you and I will write it down as 1/2. Again, I'll multiply it by 20. And then I'll multiply 3 by 20. The result is 1/2 and 60/100ths. But we can convert this fraction to an improper fraction, a mixed number. 1.60, that's 160/100ths. And if we have a denominator of 100, I can write it down as a percentage. A percent, and that's 160%. In the next lesson, we will continue to work with percentages. Goodbye, see you again.